Hey everyone, after last week's, everything got me thinking of food again. So let's do another food one. Um, Not much else going on. The solar panels are functioning about what you'd expect in the winter. We have snow here. It is brutally cold some nights, but food is always a good um, way to warm yourself up. Now, I talked before about putting a chicken in. Last night I threw a chicken in a marinade about 2 nights ago. And then last night I threw it in um, overnight. Just let it cook. What you end up with is a chicken that the skin peels right off of it. And you cook it with things. I cooked it with some thyme and some salt. And I had some sweet chili sauce I put on it and teriyaki sauce and a little hot sauce that I marinated in that mix. And like I said, threw in some thyme and some garlic and some cinnamon in when it cooked and just let it cook. And you end up with a broth, threw it in the crock pot, end up with a broth, and you end up with the chicken. And the chicken just tears apart. So it's very easy to use for anything. For example, topping a pizza. Now, one thing I haven't gotten right with the pizza yet, and that's getting a thin crust. I haven't practiced tossing it, basically because I don't want to clean up my house. Having pizza dough scattered everywhere, it's not appealing to me. But I do roll it out by hand, which can be a little tough if you've ever done that. And if it sticks in any spot, you start to pull it apart a little bit. But I can't quite get it down to a nice thin crust. Got about a 13-inch pizza that I make out of it. Throw a little sauce on it, some chicken, a few other things, and you got pizza. But what I wanted to talk about today is breakfast. So I know a lot of people swear by oatmeal. They like oatmeal. It's supposed to have heart benefits to it, etc. But not everybody enjoys plain oatmeal. I don't. I've got to throw some sugar or something in there at least to make it have some flavor. But the other day I was thinking about something. I thought, what if we did a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup style oatmeal? Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's not healthy. Listen, bear me out here. If you've never seen PB2, look in your grocery store. It's going to be usually near the peanut butter. It's a powdered peanut butter, basically. The oil's taken out. And with the oil being taken out, you lose a lot of the fats. You lose all the fats that you would normally have in your peanut butter, right? It is great for using in cooking. It's great for making shakes. You just take the powder and throw it in and mix it. So, having been a fan and having used PB2, I thought, well, wait a minute, I could throw that in with the oatmeal. Now, the oatmeal I start off with, to full disclosure, is rolled oats, which you can get really cheap in buckets. So this is a very inexpensive type breakfast. And the reason I say it's inexpensive is because the majority of this is going to be the oats, right? So you're going to throw your oats in there. I run them through a coffee grinder. I have a little electric one. I fill it up. I throw some sugar in there. I use raw sugar, which, as you know, is kind of larger grains. So I throw it all into the coffee grinder together, let it grind until it's a powdery type substance. Now, not only do I have the oats in a powder substance, the sugar is now interlaced into all of that, so it's all mixed. Put that in your bowl. Now, you're going to take a couple of scoops of PB2 and throw that in. Now, make sure you've got a whisk or something similar that you can, or even a fork if you want to use it, so you can blend all the stuff together when you get done. Now for the third ingredient. The only thing I had to do for chocolate at the time, because that's the only thing I could think of, is Hershey's syrup. That's not very healthy. But it occurred to me after I made that what if you take a chocolate protein powder and take a bit of that and throw it in? because remember, we're trying to get some flavor out of this, but at the same time, you're going to have the extra protein from the PB2. You're going to have the protein, usually it's some kind of whey protein, from the protein powder. That's going to give you your chocolate. Your PB2 is going to give you your peanut butter, and that's all going to blend together in with the oatmeal. So the majority of what you're making is oatmeal. You're adding in, and this is going to be to taste. So you're going to have to work on this on your own to figure out exactly what's the best time to use, or best thing to use. For me, I threw in 2 small scoops. I've got a scoop left over from some powders that I had. I always keep the scoops. So it's about, I'd say, maybe a couple teaspoons of PB2 that I threw into the mix. And for the protein powder, I'm probably going to do about a tablespoon or so of protein powder. You blend all of that together, right? You want it all mixed in really well. And then you're going to add your hot water or hot milk if you prefer. And that's going to give you that nice peanut buttery chocolate flavor that you're looking for, interlaced with a little bit of sugar and your oatmeal. So it's going to taste like a Reese's peanut butter cup. You're going to have to balance things out a little bit, but you're going to end up with none of the fat that you would get from a peanut butter cup, none of the refined sugar that you would get from a peanut butter cup because you're using raw sugar here. And you end up with the protein of the chocolate powder, right? You end up with the protein from the PB2. You end up with the protein that you get from the oatmeal, as well as the other benefits from eating the oatmeal. All of that blended together makes a very healthy breakfast or lunch, or any time that you're doing something and you're cold. Go outside and you shovel snow and you come into the house and you're cold. You could go grab a hot chocolate, which I've been known to do, or make yourself a bowl of peanut butter oatmeal. Just peanut butter cup oatmeal. It will warm you up. It'll give you something to do when you come in so that your hands and things can all warm up and you can get moving around a little bit to warm up. And you're going to have a high protein meal that's going to help offset some of what you just burned in calories while you were out shoveling. So it warms you up. It helps replenish you from your exercise that you just did. It's a win-win. And it tastes good if you like chocolate and peanut butter together, obviously. But again, mix and match and see what you think. And if you don't want chocolate and peanut butter, if you've got a vanilla protein powder that you use, throw that in. See what you think of that. You'll have a vanilla peanut butter flavor to the whole thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want peanut butter, and you've got a peanut butter protein powder, which I don't remember if I've seen that before or not, mix it in. Now, as an aside here, if you're looking for good powders for anything, I always go look at Labdoor. Labdoor.com does a series of evaluations on all kinds of supplements and protein powders and things like that to let you know if what it says on the package is actually what's inside. Some manufacturers can take liberties with the amount of things that are inside the packages. Might make it seem like there's a little bit more protein in there than there actually is. These guys go through and they test a couple of packages of it to go see what actually is in there. So you get a good indication of what's there and what the best proteins are. Remember, you're looking for something that's affordable, but you don't want affordable fill. You want affordable protein. And these are the guys that can take a look at that for you. Again, nothing that I ever talk about is sponsored, unfortunately, but this is what I use when I'm going to look for any kind of supplement. I will go to Labdoor and take a look there. But again, just to recap, rolled oats and raw sugar in a coffee grinder. or a herb grinder or a spice grinder. Throw that into your bowl. Throw a couple of scoops in. Again, this is all to taste of PB2, so you get your peanut butter flavor. Throw a couple of scoops in with your protein powder, be it chocolate or vanilla or whatever you're using, and then mix that all together. Get a fork in there, get it all mixed up together. Spoon's not quite so easy to do it with. If you've got a whisk, whisks work fantastic to get all that whipped together. And then add in your heated water or heated milk in to make it the consistency that you want. Remember, when you're pouring it into the bowl, swirl it around before you add any more, because sometimes you're going to miss a spot and you may not see that if you're not swirling it around. And the other thing is, as you're swirling it around, the liquid that you put in is going to penetrate more. And when it does that, what looks like you may have put in too much liquid actually looks like you put in too little. And swirling that around and making that happen is good. This is the reason it made me think of pizza dough, because if you're using any kind of dough at all, you're used to swirling that around and making sure it's all mixed together. That's what we're doing here with the oatmeal blend. And then you've got something warm that you can eat on a nice cold day that doesn't take too long to make. Right? If you wanted to, and you were going outside, let's say, you could make take a jar. I have a ton of leftover jars from things like spaghetti sauce and things. I could take a jar and I could mix all of the stuff together and put it in the jar. Right? Put the jar aside, and then when I come into from the outside, all I have to do is add hot water. Pour it in the bowl, add hot water, and I'm ready to go. So it's the same convenience and speed that you would get if you used an instant oatmeal, but it's all your blend. It's got none of the additives or other junk that they may have put in the store-bought stuff. So that's what I got for you guys this week. I will talk to you all next week.